Hello, science enthusiasts. How are you today? Are you excited to learn science? I'm teacher Esmeralda P. Garcia, and I'm here to guide you to learn about electricity generation.
But first, for you to have an idea what's in store for you today, here is our objectives. Number 1, identify the different sources of electrical energy. Second, describe how electricity is generated and how energy is transformed into different forms of energy. Number 3, make a list of environmental impacts of electricity generation. And lastly, construct a 3D model of a power plant. I know you're excited to learn, so let's get started. I wonder, what comes to your mind when you hear the word electricity? So for me to have an idea, let's try to accomplish this concept definition map about electricity. All you need to do is to provide your own definition of electricity, 5 related words about it, and an illustration that best describes electricity. Are you ready? Let's try this! So how would you define electricity? Hey, nice try! Electricity is a form of energy that can give things the ability to move and work. Now, how about related words that you can connect with the word electricity? Well, possible answers are electrical appliance like light and fan that needs electricity in order to function. Next, we have the power plants that supplies us with our energy needs. Factories that needs electricity to supply our demands. Bills we need to pay for us to have a continuous supply of electricity. And transmission lines for electricity distribution. And then we have the drawings that coincides with the related words mentioned. Did you enjoy your first task? You're doing great so far. Let's move on to the next. Now that we have freshened up your idea about electricity, next question is, can you live without electricity? So I guess it's about time for us to have this fast talk about power interruption or blackouts. Question number 1. Have you experienced blackouts? Agreed. Almost all of us experience blackouts that can last for minutes, hours, and at worst times, days. How did you feel? Sad. This is true because we cannot use our electrical appliance without electricity. Question number 3. What did you miss during the power interruption? Feeling comfortable. That's right. Especially in summer that we need electric fan and air condition to feel cool. Question number 4. What did you and your family do during these times? Stay in one place near the candle source. Question number 5. Was it widespread? Yes. Question number 6. What about the water supply? Have you observed that the water supply interruption also followed after a blackout? Yes, water supply is affected. And then lastly, can you imagine a life without electricity? Definitely no. This is the reason why our lesson for today, which is electricity generation, is very important. This is the process of generating electric power from different sources of energy. Electricity is not freely available in nature in large amounts, so it must be produced, that is, transforming other forms of energy to electricity. Production is carried out in power stations, also called power plants. Electricity is most often generated at a power plant by electromechanical generators, primarily driven by heat engines, fueled by combustion or nuclear fission, but also by other means such as the kinetic energy of flowing water and wind.
Can you think of a power plant that can provide us with our electricity needs? If you are having a hard time, perhaps this 4-pick one word can help you. Let's start. Can you guess what this is? That's right, hydroelectric power plants. Hydroelectric power plant uses a dam on a river to store water in a reservoir. Water released from the reservoir flows through a turbine, spinning it, which in turn activates a generator to produce electricity. For our next 4-pick one-word puzzle, what's your answer? You guessed right, geothermal power plant, which is generated from steam from ground and volcanoes. Geothermal power plants use hydrothermal resources that have both water, hydro, and heat, thermal. Geothermal power plants require high-temperature hydrothermal resources that comes from either dry steam wells or from hot water wells. People use these resources by drilling wells into the earth and then piping steam or hot water to the surface. The hot water or steam powers a turbine that generates electricity. Here is our next puzzle. What's your guess? Correct! Coal-fired power plant. Coal-fired power plants makes use of the combustion of coal in order to generate electricity. Their use provides around 40% of the world's electricity, and they are primarily used in developing countries. Many coal plants are mine-mouth, which means that the plant was put where the coal mine is, so the coal doesn't need to be transported by train. Are you ready for our last puzzle? Can't wait to hear your answer. Excellent! Nuclear power plant. Nuclear power plants are a type of power plant that use the process of nuclear fission to generate electricity. They do this by using nuclear reactors in combination with the Rankine cycle, where the heat generated by the reactor converts water into steam, which spins a turbine and a generator. Both fission and fusion are nuclear reactions that produce energy, but the applications are not the same. Now that you've learned about the different power plants and how electricity is generated in these power plants, you can now try answering a series of activities I have prepared for you. For our first activity, all you need to do is to match the terms in column A with the appropriate pictures in column B. Are you ready? You can now start. Perfect! That was easy, right? Let's now proceed with your next challenge. For this activity, you need to analyze whether the sentence is right or wrong. Is it a fact or a bluff? Let's do this! Electricity generation is the process of generating electric power from different sources of energy. Correct. It's a fact. Number 2. Electricity is freely available in nature. Good answer. It's a bluff. It must be produced by transforming other forms of energy to electricity. Production is carried out in power stations or power plants using turbines and generators. Third, nuclear power plants are a type of power plant that use the process of nuclear fission to generate electricity. Your answer is right. It's a fact. Number 4.
Electricity is most often generated at a power plant by electromechanical generators, primarily driven by heat engines, fueled by combustion or nuclear fission. Very good, it's a fact. Number 5. Coal plants are built where the coal mine is, so the coal doesn't need to be transported by train. Excellent! It's also a fact. Wow, you're doing great! We are now down to our last activity. For this one, you need to complete the energy transformation in coal-fired power plant, geothermal power plant, and hydroelectric power plant. This is for coal-fired power plant. I'm giving you 15 seconds to complete the diagram. Time starts now. Okay, time's up. Did you guess right? Let's find out. For the correct answer, coal burned to boil water produces steam, drives a turbine, which drives a generator, it generates electricity. That was easy, right? Next, try to complete this diagram. Time starts now. Is your answer correct? Let's check. The correct answer is steam spins a turbine that drives a generator that generates electricity. Here is our last diagram for you to complete. Timer starts now. Did you got it right? Let's see. Dam releases water through the penstock that spins the turbine, drives the generator, and generates electricity. Well, looks like that you have learned a lot because you were able to accomplish all the activities with flying colors. Now that you have gained knowledge about electricity generation, it is also important to consider how our environment is affected by such activities. So, what I want you to do is for you to watch this video about electricity generation, then make a list of environmental impacts of the process of providing electricity need in relation to our environment.
Hi, I'm Sarah Backhouse, back with more on our energy series in partnership with the Switch Energy Project, a campaign to educate global citizens about the science of energy. Today we examine the environmental impact of energy. First, there are harmful gases like methane, nitrous oxide and carbon dioxide that are produced during production. Second, it takes a lot of land and water use to produce energy. Here's Dr. Scott Tinker with a deeper explanation.
All energy has environmental impacts, from air to water to solid waste to land use and beyond. The key is managing these effectively and affordably into the future. The most discussed and debated environmental effect today is CO2 emissions. All fossil fuels, when burned, produce them. Nearly half of our CO2 emissions come from coal. More than a third comes from oil. Some countries are talking about reducing CO2 emissions. How much and what effect that will have on the atmosphere, warming, and energy production is yet to be seen. There are other emissions we agree on more completely. Sulfur dioxide, causes acid rain. Nitrogen oxides erode the ozone layer. Both of these, mostly from coal and oil, we control to some degree. But as a global society, we don't do a very good job of managing gaseous wastes, a big area for improvement. We're better with solid and liquid wastes. Most coal ash is captured. Large oil spills are rare. We've done a good job to date of keeping nuclear waste out of the environment, but we can improve here too. Water use is becoming an increasingly big issue. In unconventional oil and gas production, for cooling power plants, even concentrating solar plants use a lot of water. While energy uses a small fraction compared to agriculture and industry, we'll likely see greater tension over water in the future. Good reason to work now to minimize quantities and improve recycling. Finally, there's land use. Renewable energies, wind, solar, hydro, biofuels, cover much larger areas than more concentrated energies, like nuclear and fossil fuels. How much land we're willing to use for energy in the future will likely depend on where the land is and what energy it's used for. In general, though, we've been reducing the environmental impacts of energy over time, but at a price. It's usually more expensive to make energy cleaner, and the cost gets passed along to consumers. As energy prices continue to rise, the key to a successful energy future is minimizing environmental impacts while keeping energy affordable, and using the prosperity that affordable energy brings to continue to invest in the environment.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to share this video and join the conversation at switchenergyproject.com and future360.tv. See you next time.
Does your list include the following? Knowing the impacts of electricity generation to the environment, it is important that we practice conservation and save electricity whenever and wherever. Such efforts means a lot in saving the environment.
Did you enjoy learning with me? You did great, by the way. Do you know that you can still learn even when you're at home? Yes, you can design your own 3D model of a power plant using materials you have at home. But be sure that you are guided with this rubric so that you know that you're on the right track. Do you accept the challenge? Again, I'm Teacher Esme and I'm excited to learn with you again. God bless.